In 2012, UCFS Leland Kim showed scientific evidence that marijuana is less harmful than tobacco. She uses Stephan's paper to describe how airflow decreases with tobacco use and how it increases with marijuana usage. When we grow up, we are raised with an idea that marijuana or other drugs like that is very harmful for you. And of course, it is true, but to a certain extent. With regular use or with safe use with marijuana, it can actually be very beneficial for you. It can help with your anxiety, depression, and seizures and PTSD. Now that we have more information about the plant and we know why it was illegal, and we know that it was illegal due to ignorance. Arguments that has been faced with legalizing marijuana is the decrease of productivity. Of course, this one is pretty true, but in Dennis Watkins' 2013 Smoking Pot Can Make You Lazy article, describes how your dopamine in your brain decreases with regular and heavy use of marijuana. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that signals when you do something good, and it encourages your brain to continue doing that thing. Now, of course, this is if you're a heavy use with marijuana. And I am here to convince you that marijuana should be legalized for recreational purposes nationwide. Legalizing marijuana can boost the economy and decrease traffic deaths and DUIs arrests, and is a lot less harmful than tobacco and alcohol. Now let's start by looking at my points where I'll show you that marijuana is a lot safer than that, why legalizing marijuana can boost the economy. And how legalizing marijuana reshaping states shows how in Colorado 3,500 jobs has been created, and how the weekly wages in those jobs increased by $555 a week. And other employment options has also been available and has increased and became better. And this was only in the first year of it being legalized, and they are expecting it to increase throughout the years. Based off of marijuana in Idaho, a new industry on the grow predicts 19,000 jobs in the marijuana industry by 2025, and explained how $38.3 million have been made after 1 year of it being legalized. And for my next point, that marijuana can decrease traffic deaths and arrests for DUIs. Legalizing marijuana second edition explains how traffic crashes are related to alcohol and does kill up to 1,700 Americans and 2,000 non-related traffic deaths. And that just shows that marijuana is a lot safer than alcohol. Also, based off of that same resource, legalizing marijuana second edition, driving under marijuana increases the risk of crashes by 83%. We can all agree that that's a high number, but under alcohol, it is 2,200%, which is definitely not comparable to marijuana's rate. And my point 3, marijuana is a lot less harmful than tobacco. Studies show that it does not do any serious harm based off of legalizing marijuana second edition. When it comes to the Marijuana Tax Act in 1937, there was no testimony in favor of legalizing it by the medical team. When it came to legalizing marijuana or to put a tax on it, it was mostly based off of racism and ignorance. And that just shows that most of our laws is based off of fear, and our ideologies is also based off of fear rather than knowledge on the plant. Also, in that same resource, legalizing marijuana second edition, studies show that smoking tobacco is responsible for 4,400,000 deaths per year, and that it can cause many forms of cancer and is very damaging to a lot of different organs. Okay, I've discussed a lot of information about why we should legalize recreational marijuana nationwide. Now let me try to sum it all up for you. Today, I've tried to convince you that marijuana should be legalized nationwide for recreational purposes. Number one, it can boost the economy, and legalizing marijuana can decrease traffic deaths and DUI arrests, and also, it's a lot less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. I know it's hard to break out of that set of ideologies, but we cannot be ignorant and ignore the facts that is placed in front of us. Over here, I got different examples of how marijuana is a major pro to our country, and especially reducing anxiety and PTSD, like I acknowledge, helpful to people with epilepsy that can suffer from seizures, and it's a lot safer alternative to opioids, which is very addictive, and it can have anti-cancer effects and relieves arthritis. And these are just some of the illnesses and diseases that most Americans face today. And I feel like it's our responsibility to accept the facts and to allow ourselves to inform ourselves and other people or younger generations about this safer alternative to narcotics and substances like alcohol and tobacco. And I encourage you to even look up, read more about this information in the second Legalizing Marijuana Second Edition. In that book, it provides you with a lot more scientific evidence and reasoning why it should become legal nationwide. And before I close with you today, I'd like to leave you with a quote by Bill Muller, who is a political comedian, stated, "Whenever people are for gay marriage or medical marijuana or assisted suicide, suddenly the will of the people goes out the window." Thank you for your time today.